Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us this afternoon. And just like appointments, we want people to be on time, but there's enough grace in this room to just push it a little bit. I see there are still some others coming and joining us. And so I want to welcome you on behalf of St. Peter's by the Sea. My name is Steve Wright, and I'm the pastor here. And glad to have you with us as we celebrate the life of Daniel Kafer. We began the service in the name of the one who said, "I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me." According to the prophet Isaiah, he will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs in his arms and carry them in his heart. It is with broken hearts that we gather together today to remember Daniel, a son, a brother, an uncle, a neighbor, a co-worker, a friend, and most important, a child of God. And so we gather in this place to comfort one another and to seek the comfort that God provides. It's Jesus who said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." And part of the comfort that we'll experience today is to tell stories and to hear stories about the way Daniel made an impact on the life of all of us gathered here today. Part of it it's in the service, but just as much it's in the after time where we eat together and share stories and speak of our fondness and gratitude for the blessing of his life. And so with that as our charter today and what we're about, let's begin with a word of prayer. Eternal God, we acknowledge the uncertainty of our life on earth. We're given a mere handful of days, and our span of life seems as nothing in your sight. All flesh is as grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, but your word will stand forever. And this is our hope, for you are our God. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, you are with us. And so, Lord, let us know our end and the number of our days, that we may learn how fleeting life is. Turn your ear to our cry and hear our prayer. Do not be silent at our tears, but let us know the comfort of your presence this day through Jesus Christ. Amen. So we begin with remembrances. This afternoon, 3 have been chosen to come and to share words. A friend of 40 years, Tony Renfro, will start us off, and Kelly Niles will follow second. Beyond that, she's known Daniel since the age of 5, and so a lot of memories to share. And then finally, we'll hear from Daniel's brother, Scott.
Good afternoon. My name's Tony, and first thing I wanted to say is that Daniel Kafer is the most unforgettable character I've ever met, and I think probably everybody would agree, and also one of the most generous people that I'd ever met. Now, I was going to tell you how I met Dan, but the first thing, I'd like to tell you how he tells people we met. We used to go to this restaurant. In fact, the last couple of years, we went to the fish camp just around the street here. We'd go there and meet up every couple of weeks or so. And the girls got to know us, and we'd stand there and do our order. And one time, Dan is taking a little bit too much time. He's looking at the menu and he's staring. And I go, come on, let's move it. And he looks at me and goes, hey, don't yell at me. And the girl looks at me, and I go, hey, we've been married a long time. Dan says, hey, that's not true. He goes, we are not married. And I go, that's true, that was just a joke. And Dan says, and the girl says, well, how did you guys meet? And Dan goes, prison. And she pauses and she goes, really? And he goes, yeah, we won the dance contest. But how did we really meet? Okay. We met at the shop, his old shop that's just down the street here, in 1978. And I immediately found the guy to be the funniest person I'd ever met in my life. And he wasn't just goofy or class clown kind of funny. He was genuinely witty. And he once told me that Jonathan Winters was his comedy idol, and he certainly was comparable to him, because he was very fast on his feet when it came to saying the right thing at the right time. So not long after we had met, I told Dan I was going to go to Europe for a summer vacation. This was back in '79 now, and I was going to travel around. He said, you know what, I'm going to go there too, and I'll meet you there. So we decided that we were going to meet up on a certain day at the Paris train station. And I had already been there about a month. So, there was no cell phones at this time. So meeting Dan at this time and date was iffy at best. But sure enough, right on schedule, there's Dan at the train station. So we traveled around Europe for about 3 weeks. And we were in Paris and London and Amsterdam. And I was laughing my butt off the whole time, because I had never really hung out with him that much until then. So I was just cracking up. And so one time, we're walking down the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and Dan decides he's going to break out his Popeye impression, Popeye the Sailor. So he's walking down the street going, hello, all these Mexican Barraskins, and I'm like, nobody knows what he's doing. All these French people looking at me going, what? It didn't matter to Dan. I was cracking up, and that was enough. Let's see. Okay, well, and then another time, did I lose my place? I think I did. Dan was a really terrific dancer, and he was, had won dance contests when he was, going to hair school. And one time we were in Puerto Vallarta, and we're walking down the street, the main drag in PV, and if you've ever been there, there's all the bars are on one side, and then there's, the ocean and a little 2-lane highway on the other side. And we're walking down there, and all of a sudden we hear Elvis's Jailhouse Rock come booming out of one of the restaurants. And this restaurant was an open-air restaurant, and it had like wrought iron bars on the windows. And so Dan hears this, and he goes into this, he does all of the Elvis choreography. He starts hanging off the bars. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, but there's specific choreography that he does. And people, all of a sudden traffic is stopped. A crowd gathers. People that are in the bar are running out to see Dan do his thing. Anyway, it was another one of those, you'd only see it in a movie, but with Dan, you saw a lot of moments like that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I know. So I used to live in Santa Barbara, and I'd come down here to meet with him, and he says, let's go to this bar in Garden Grove. And it was, one of these kind of bars, this is like in the 80s, you had to get through a metal detector to get in. It was that kind of a place. And so we're in the bar, and Dan strikes up a conversation with this really exotic-looking woman. And she goes to light a cigarette. And Dan immediately pulls his lighter out. He pulls her hand up to hit the lighter. And he goes, didn't we meet in Shanghai? I thought, that's another one of those things, the perfect line at the perfect time. Dan was a genius at that. And then another time, I go to meet, he says, let's go see Diana Ross. He was a big fan of Diana Ross. And she was at the Forum, and it was at Theater in the Round. And so I came down from Santa Barbara, and I had a nosebleed seat, and he had a ringside seat. And there's a portion in the show where Diana Ross says, will somebody like to come up and dance with me? Dan immediately is on stage, and we could tell, somebody in the audience today was with me at the time. We were sitting up in the bleachers, and he had a Dodger jacket on, so we could tell right away it's him. And all of a sudden, he's got Diana Ross, and he's dipping her, he's flipping her, we're going, this is insane. But again, a great time with Dan. And the last thing he said that really cracked me up, and this was just before Thanksgiving, and he called me up and he goes, Tony, he goes, I got to tell you this story. He goes, this doctor just came in, and he was about to tell him about this procedure that he was going to do. And he said, the guy's name is like Dr. Fabrizio Fabrici or something. He looks like he's out of central casting. He looks like he could have been cast in The Godfather. And I said, so what happened? And he said, well, at the end of the talk, he says, Mr. Kafer, is there something you want me to know? Anything you want to tell me before we do this? And Dan looks at him and goes, Doc, he says, yeah. He says, drop the gun, keep the cannoli. God bless you, Dan. We love you.